He worked in almost every film genre, bringing to each role his trademark sincerity and dignity.
All right. If you or any man on this post passes me up again without saluting, even if I'm a block away, you'll wonder what fell on you. You might pass that word around.
Yes, sir.
Tall, dark, handsome, and brooding, he is the one and only Gregory Peck. Gregory Peck was born in La Jolla, California in 1916. He studied acting while attending Berkeley, then moved to New York, where he appeared on Broadway. After a few minor film appearances, Peck was finally noticed when he played the millionaire who marries Greer Garson in the 1945 film Valley of Decision.
There's nothing can come of it.
Marry me, darling.
Paul.
Marry me.
Paul, I'm a servant in this house. This family's good to me. Do you want to see me make them a laughingstock and people to call me a scheming, conniving... Can I...
His breakthrough role occurred when he starred opposite Ingrid Bergman in Alfred Hitchcock's classic 1945 thriller, Spellbound. Peck played an amnesiac masquerading as a psychiatrist. Many remember the film for its surreal dream sequence designed by Salvador Dali. Important roles followed for Peck in 1946, including the lecherous cowpoke who seduces Jennifer Jones in Duel in the Sun.
Loot, honey. Won't do no harm to tell folks, will it, honey?
1946 also saw Peck playing the father of a young boy raising a fawn in The Yearling.
The calf and the shoat, the barn door, and the other animals broke down.
Take it easy, boy.
But what happened, Paul? What done it?
Bear. Big one. Look at there.
One of Peck's most important and most memorable roles came in 1947 when he played the lead in Elia Kazan's Gentleman's Agreement. Peck played a magazine writer who pretends to be Jewish in order to experience and write about anti-Semitism.
Same eyes, same nose, same suit, same everything. Here, take my hand. Feel it. Same flesh as yours, isn't it? No different today than it was yesterday, Miss Wales.
In 1950, he made a memorable impression as the gunfighter. Peck played a world-weary quick-draw whose reputation constantly leads him into trouble with young gunmen, hoping to outshoot him.
If Eddie don't mean no harm, then let him keep his big, ugly nose out of my business before it gets slapped.
1951 had Peck appearing in another Western, Only the Valiant.
There ain't many of us coming out of this. Maybe only one or two. Maybe only one.
It'll be interesting to see which one it is. Won't it, sir?
Peck continued to slip in and out of different genres. He played King David in David and Bathsheba, a top-grossing religious epic from 20th Century Fox.
You would force her to suffer the most horrible of deaths. Let the mob drive her like a dog through the streets to the city gates. Watch the cruel stones strike her flesh. Let...
Yes, sir. If she had broken the law.
If the law of Moses is to be broken, David, let us break it in full understanding of what we want from each other.
Peck took the lead in Roman Holiday, opposite Audrey Hepburn, appearing in her first American film. He played a journalist named Joe Bradley, who takes rebellious Princess Hepburn on a tour of Rome. Naturally, the two fall in love.
I've never been alone with a man before, even with my dress on. With my dress off, it's most unusual.
But don't you have to work?
Work now. Today's going to be a holiday.
And what a holiday. A Roman holiday, when all the things happen you'd always hoped for on the happiest day of your life.
Hello.
Fun on the run, as the princess gives Greg a regal and highly illegal scoot-around. And you'll be there to share the excitement of the wildest escapade that ever set the Eternal City on its ear.
By this time, Peck was internationally renowned as a star. In 1953, he won the French equivalent of the Oscar, awarded to him by President Vincent Auriot. Another of Peck's most famous roles came in 1956 when he starred as Captain Ahab in Moby Dick.
You're to look for the white whale. A whale as white and as big as a mountain of snow. To chase that white whale on both sides of land and over all sides of earth till he spouts black blood and rolls dead out.
Famed science fiction author Ray Bradbury adapted Herman Melville's epic novel for the screen. Peck was cast against type in Designing Woman, a romantic screwball comedy.
Camilla, what are you doing here?
Peck portrayed a sports columnist married to a fashion designer, played by the beautiful Lauren Bacall.
What about Mrs. Hagen?
Matt Daler's boys are putting a snatch on Mrs. Hagen tonight. In Boston.
How do you know?
Well, I invest in a few beers with the right people. They cannot find you, so naturally they gotta grab the next best thing, your wife.
In 1958, Peck returned to the Western genre for The Bravado, where Peck went to great lengths to avenge the rape and murder of his wife.
You remember that woman?
No.
Don't do it. She begged and cried and pleaded too, didn't she?
Please let me live. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Gregory Peck always seemed to be working with the biggest stars in the business. In On the Beach, he co-starred with Anthony Perkins, Ava Gardner, and in a rare dramatic role, Fred Astaire. Based on the novel by Neville Shute, the film takes place after a nuclear war has killed off most of the world's population. While On the Beach was depressing and grim, Peck's 1961 movie Guns of Navarone was a rousing adventure.
This is Gregory Peck speaking, and I'd like to tell you something about the Guns of Navarone, because it's the most unusual film in which I've ever appeared. I play the role of Mallory, the man whose job it is to lead 6 expert cutthroats and saboteurs on a desperate and impossible mission.
Watch out!
What makes it even more desperate and impossible is that some of us hate each other even more than we do the enemy.
Peck joined David Niven and Anthony Quinn in a World War II story about a handful of commandos who must destroy a Nazi outpost.
Getting away with it all this time, standing by. Well, son, your bystanding days are over. You're in it now, up to your neck. They told me that you're a genius with explosives. Start proving it. You got me in the mood to use this thing. And by God, if you don't think of something, I'll use it on you.
The film was one of the highest grossing in history. Peck again experimented with a new genre when he starred in the film noir thriller Cape Fear. He played a lawyer whose family is harassed by ex-convict Robert Mitchum.
You just put the law in my hands, and I'm gonna break your heart with it.
I got a little plan for your wife and kids.
They're never gonna forget. Never.
Mitchum's character holds a grudge against Peck, who defended him unsuccessfully years earlier.
Nancy! Tell the operator to call the sheriff's office. Send some men out here fast!
Peck had a cameo as a judge in Martin Scorsese's 1991 remake, starring Robert De Niro and Nick Nolte. Later, in 1962, Peck played what is arguably his best role ever.
The world never seems as fresh and wonderful, as comforting and terrifying, as good and evil, as it does when seen through the eyes of a child. For a writer to capture that feeling is remarkable. Perhaps that is why one book has been so warmly embraced.
He starred in To Kill a Mockingbird, based on the popular novel and classroom staple by Harper Lee. Peck played Atticus Finch, a small-town Southern lawyer who defends a black man accused of raping a white woman.
I've been appointed to defend Tom Robinson. Now that he's been charged, that's what I intend to do.
You taking his
You'll excuse me, Mr. Ewell.
What kind of man are you? You got children of your own?
He is also a single parent, trying to bring up two small, inquisitive children.
What are you gonna give me?
There's a pearl necklace. There's a ring that belonged to your mother.
Peck's dignity and quiet reserve lent themselves perfectly to the character.
I got something to say. And if you ain't gonna do nothing about it, then you're just a bunch of lousy, yellow, stinking cowards!
The controversial film was a huge hit with critics and public alike. Peck's performance was universally acclaimed. He won the Star of the Year award from the Theater Owners of America, the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Drama, and the Best Actor Oscar at the 1963 Academy Awards. Peck joined almost every other actor known for their work in Westerns in the epic How the West Was Won. Peck's reputation as one of the nicest guys in Hollywood made any personal appearance a newsworthy event, such as when he entered a horse in the 1963 Grand National Horse Race.
Gregory Peck has entered Owen Sedge, and there's Hollywood money riding on the gray. 4.5 miles and 30 jumps. That's what faces the field as they get away nicely.
Here, Peck arrives with fellow co-stars at the premiere of his film Captain Newman, M.D.
Also starred in Captain Newman is Gregory Peck, who attends with his wife. Produced by Robert Arthur, the new film has attracted a gala audience, and that makes author Leo Roston happy.
Mirage was a bizarre murder mystery held together by Peck's fine performance.
The suspense is real. The kisses are real. The bullets are real. Yet for him, it has the feeling of a terrifying mirage.
He was dead. Why didn't you say so?
That's what dead is, and that's what you'll look like if you don't stop!
Peck worked steadily from the late 60s into the early 70s. He appeared in Marooned with James Franciscus, Gene Hackman, and Richard Crenna.
Houston, Iron Man, this is Houston. Do you read?
Go, Houston.
Do you affirm retrofire?
Negative.
Say again?
I said we had negative retrofire.
Bailey, kill it.
And if that big baby doesn't fire this time, they're not coming back.
Marooned, the epic adventure of 3 American astronauts stranded in the hostile beauty of space, while the whole world watches and waits.
Dr. Charles Keith, Chief of Manned Space.
What happens if you can't get the engine to retrofire?
We're prepared for every contingency, Mr. Henry.
Have you given up hope, Mr. Keith?
Certainly not, Mr. Cannon. Why should I?
I Walk the Line was a dark drama where he played a sheriff falling in love with teenager Tuesday Wells.
Out for the tie that binds, because you're mine. I walk the line.
What's your name?
Elma McCain.
I braided twigs of willow, made a string of buckeye beads. But flesh and blood needs flesh and blood, and you're the one I need.
I have to see you. I have to see you all the time. I've been waiting every day to hear.
I told you I would.
Oh, I just couldn't wait no more.
Like I was over Sutton the other day, looking through some records, finding old names, old roads, barely on the map. And like I come across the name McCain.
Kate? I want that whole outfit sunk in the river. Everything. And don't you think I don't mean it. You got nothing on me. I'll just deny anything.
We don't mean no harm.
There's a federal man now. There's no choice.
You keep on getting the best of it. We got arrangements, you hear?
Hurt me, Henry.
Tell me.
You're hurting me.
How come you didn't tell me?
I don't know what you're talking
I'm talking about your husband in Capesville.
Billy Two Hats was a Western shot in Israel, where Peck played a bandit teaming with Desi Arnaz Jr. to pull off a robbery.
The outlaw, Gregory Peck. The escape.
Good day to you, Marshal.
But none of these films did as well as expected.
The pursuit.
That buffalo gun of yours still works? You know the Bible, Billy. Well, there's a bit in it. It says 2 are better than 1 because they have good reward for their labor. And if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow.
Gregory Peck seemed to be losing his box office appeal. But in 1976, Peck starred in the modern horror classic, The Omen.
The perfect marriage of Robert and Catherine Thorne was fulfilled by the birth of their son, Damien.
He played an American diplomat whose murdered baby is replaced by the newly born Antichrist.
It's all for you.
Slowly, Peck comes to realize he is raising the son of the devil and must kill the child to save the world.
This is not a human child.
Who is he?
The film was incredibly successful and spawned a series of sequels.
And can he be stopped? Gregory Peck, Lee Remick, The Omen.
Peck's box office power was now restored thanks to his earnest performance as the distraught father. His new popularity earned him the title role in MacArthur.
With the pomp and grandeur of a Roman general, he led us to spectacular victories. He showed mercy to a conquered emperor and defiance to an American president. He was proud, vain, impossible, and magnificent.
People of the Philippines, I have returned.
MacArthur, the warrior, has returned.
Need him. The country needs him. We can't leave him to the Japanese.
He's the greatest general since Sergeant York.
War, the most malignant scourge,
that greatest sin of mankind can no longer be controlled, only abolished.
Hell does he think he is? God? Now what do you think Congress would do if I relieved the big general?
He was daring, brilliant, some say even dangerous, and he changed the face of the world forever.
In Boys from Brazil, he played his first out-and-out villain.
How can I function if I don't have all the facts?
But you do. A nosy, incompetent old Jew has bungled onto one victim. What more do you have to know? Any idiot could see the next logical step. Kill him.
As Dr. Joseph Mengele, Peck was attempting to create a Fourth Reich with clones of Adolf Hitler.
For the next 2.5 years, 94 men must die on or near certain dates. 16 of these men are in West Germany, 14 in Sweden, 13 in England, 12 in the United States, 10 in Norway, 9 in Austria, 8 in Holland, and 6 each in Denmark and Canada. A total of 94 assassinations.
It's a story of pursuit. It's a story of a man who has lived for an ideal to bring these monsters to justice.
Sidney, there is a plot by the Comrades organization.
Another respected actor, Laurence Olivier, played Peck's adversary, a Nazi hunter who stumbles across the bizarre plot.
I want your European, Canadian, and American bureaus to send you clippings of all 65-year-old civil servants who die accidentally.
But whose plot is this?
Joseph Mengele.
Have you any idea how many men in their mid-60s die every day?
I try not to think about it.
Gregory Peck continued appearing in feature films and television movies throughout the 80s and 90s, as well as making personal appearances. He has always been known as one of the nicest men in Hollywood and one of the screen's most reliable actors. From comedy to horror, westerns to film noir, he has acted in almost every genre. His handsome and well-meaning leading men always possessed a quiet dignity and an intense earnestness, whether they were father figures or heroic soldiers. He is always counted on to give his all to a role and put in a good performance, even if the film might seem controversial. That is why Hollywood will always remember Gregory Peck.